international human rights group Amnesty International is urging the Jamaican government to promptly implement the recommendations put forward by the West Kingston Commission of Inquiry. Amnesty International argues that the events that unfolded during the May 2010 Security Forces operation was among the gravest human rights violations seen in the English-speaking Caribbean in recent history. Leslie Sherwood has the details.
International human rights watchdog group Amnesty International is placing on record its support for the just-released West Kingston Commission of Inquiry report. The West Kingston Commission of Inquiry, chaired by retired Barbadian Judge Sir David Simmons, was convened to investigate the events that took place in West Kingston when the security forces went in search for then-fugitive Christopher Dudus Coke in May 2010. At the time, Coke was wanted by the United States on drug and firearm charges. On June 15, 2016, the three-member commission submitted its findings in a 900-page document. Among the findings, the Tivoli Commission delivered stinging rebukes of the leadership provided by former Commissioner of Police Owen Ellington and former Army Chief Major General Stuart Saunders. The Commission also rebuked the Jamaican military for firing 37 mortar rounds in Tivoli Gardens, which it claims was a serious error of judgment. The Sir David Simmons-led commission says the decision to fire mortars in Tivoli Gardens was reckless, given the geography of the area. The three-member committee also cited extrajudicial killings at the hands of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. According to the commission, there were at least 15 persons that could have been killed by the members of the JCF. A total of 70 civilians lost their lives during the May 2010 Tivoli incursion, and dozens more were injured. Meanwhile, in supporting the West Kingston Commission of Inquiry's findings, Amnesty International noted that what took place in West Kingston was, quote, a large-scale loss of lives and some of the most grave human rights violations seen in the English-speaking Caribbean in recent history, end quote. Amnesty International concurs with the West Kingston Commission of Inquiry that the events of 2010 provide numerous lessons for the government. The watchdog group has put forward 10 critical recommendations of its own that it urged the Jamaican government to implement to ensure that there is no repeat of the Tivoli Gardens tragedy. Among them, Amnesty is calling on the government to reform the police force, never allow mortars to be used again in Jamaica, ensure all victims receive full reparation, apologize to the residents of Tivoli Gardens, including the thousands of young men arbitrarily detained, and provide counseling for traumatized witnesses and residents. The International Human Rights Group also emphasized that Jamaica needs to promptly adhere to fundamental human rights treaties, including the Convention Against Torture. Amnesty International is also appealing to the government to swiftly implement the recommendations put forward by the West Kingston Commission of Inquiry. Those recommendations include offering an official apology and a suggestion against certain members of these security forces being allowed to lead such operations in future. I'm Leslie Sherwood for CEEN Caribbean News.